What's going on, guys? Eternal Wind back with another episode of Brutally Honest, and today we are going to cover the Benkei's Last Stand. Benkei? Benkei? Anyway, so this particular legendary gives you a 75% chance to ignore arrow damage. This used to be the most useless legendary charm in the game, by far. It used to be a 15% chance, so just let that sink in for a minute. A 15% chance to ignore arrow damage. Who the fuck is gonna use a legendary slot on 15%? Now, Sucker Punch finally realized that this particular percentage was hot garbage. Now, I wish they had thought about that for Yoshitsune's Hand or the Demon Cutter, but at least we got something. So they buffed the shit out of it from 15 to 75% chance. Now, what you could theoretically do, because back in the day, all we had for nightmare modifiers were Watcha all the time. And back then, the assassin did not have the built-in ability to have faster assassinations. You had to run that as a perk. And if you ran that as a perk, you lost out on something else, even though there wasn't a whole lot to really run in that slot anyway. But the whole point of this is that people would try to assassinate outside of the zone and just straight up die to Watcha. It probably still happens even now. If you're not smart about when you go to do anything outside of the zone when Watcha is a world modifier, you can get peppered pretty easily. Now, what you may or may not know about this is the Watcha are indeed considered arrow damage. Uh, so you can stand inside of where the Watcha is going to shoot you, and let's say you're an assassin and you go to assassinate somebody and you have this on. You can have a 75% chance to literally tank that damage, take zero damage, in fact, do your assassination, and go about your day. That's about the only thing that is cool about this particular legendary. The fact that Watcha are considered arrow damage, so you can just run around for days outside the zone and do whatever you need to do. Ultimate, whatever, stealth kill, anything outside of the zone when Watcha is a world modifier with a 75% chance to ignore arrow damage. For your one-shot arrows, like the scrubby Mongols, I mean, who gives a shit? But I've died to them, and I'm sure you have too. Um, is that enough to use this in your legendary slot? Probably not. But it is nice against the arrow barrage that the Oni archers do. That can be beneficial, especially if you have waves where you have like 5 or 6 of those bastards, and they're just machine gunning you like crazy. This can be helpful in those regards. Unfortunately, this kind of goes along with the Yoshitsune's Hand, the Demon Cutter, Lady Sanjo's. There are just legendaries in this game that are not very good no matter what you do. I mean, like I said before, you can make a build around anything in this game, and that can be said for Benkei's Last Stand. But anyway, you can end up running this and make some kind of use out of it. But here's where it gets weird. So this is a ranged charm. So if you look at the properties here, it acts like a ranged charm. You've got range damage, range resolve gain, draw speed, reload speed. Um, it's strange, but obviously, with you being able to have class-specific perks and properties on legendary charms now, it's not too bad depending on what you're running. Um, but no stealth attack damage. If you wanted to try to throw this on an assassin for what I mentioned before, and no status effect damage. You do have fire damage down here, but no status effect damage as far as I can see. So yeah, it's a weird charm. I've heard of some people running this, and it can save your ass, during Watcha and Oni Archer spam. But outside of that, let's be honest, you're not going to use this. Um, I'm going to give this thing a 3, just because I think it's cool that you can actually use it against the Watcha. If this thing had had 75% chance back in the day, when all we had were Watcha, um, when it was only a 15% chance, I maybe have been able to see it used more back then. But in today's standards, with this being endgame, don't waste your time. Just use it as cannon fodder for your honor, just like a lot of the unfortunate legendaries that fall into this list. But alright, guys, that's going to be it for this episode of Brutally Honest. If you enjoyed the video, please consider smashing that like button and subscribe to stay up to date on all of my content. I appreciate you coming out, and I'll catch you on the next one. Deuces!